The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250. Love, peace, and blessings to you, beautiful children. My name is Chief Condra Ridley, and today we are beginning a journey into Chief Condra's favorite tales. I want to tell you a secret. Watch carefully. Do you know what I said? I said, I love books, and I hope you do too. Over the years of my life, I have learned some of the most wonderful things about life through books. I hope that you will find much knowledge and joy in books. So today, as we begin our time together doing Chief Condra's favorite tales, I'm going to expose you to some of my favorite books. Let us begin. A lot of the books that I have, I actually received them from the authors. This particular book I like especially because it tells us how much alike we all are in the world, no matter where we live, how we live, what language we speak, or what we may look like. We are all much more alike than we are unalike. And I learned that from the great Maya Angelou. This is a book by Mem Fox. I had the privilege of meeting her many years ago here in Fort Wayne. Mem Fox is an author who also advocates for the joys of reading. And this is her book called Whoever You Are. It is illustrated by Leslie Staub. Whoever You Are by Mem Fox. Little one, whoever you are, there are little ones just like you all over the world. Their skin may be different from yours, and their homes may be different from yours. Their schools may be different from yours, and their lands may be different from yours. Their lives may be different from yours, and their words may be very different from yours. But inside, their hearts are just like yours, whoever they are, wherever they are, all over the world. Isn't that amazing? Their smiles are like yours. Can you smile real big? And they laugh just like you. Isn't that great to know? Their hurts are like yours, and they cry like you too. Whoever they are, wherever they are, all over the world. Little one, when you are older and when you are grown, you may be different. And they may be different wherever you are, wherever they are in this big, wide world. But remember this: joys are the same, and love is the same. Pain is the same, and blood is the same. Smiles are the same, and hearts are just the same, wherever they are, wherever you are, wherever we are, all over the world. And that's Whoever You Are by Mem Fox. All right, isn't that great to think how much alike we are? Smiles are the same, joys are the same, pain is the same, and love is the same all over the world. Okay, you want to try that with me? Take 3 fingers up on your right hand and 3 on your left. Stack them together, right on left, and make it go around. One W around the other means the world. So you know what? In this world, what do we need more? Love. Absolutely. My next book I'd like to share is a beautifully illustrated book called The Undefeated. This book was done by an illustrator, a fine, fine artist who I met right here in Fort Wayne also. His name, Kadir Nelson. And Kadir is one of my favorite artists at this time. He does some beautiful illustrations and paintings, and he is now an author as well. So I want you to see this lovely book. It shows portraits of some of the great people in our American history. Here's Maya Angelou, who I just mentioned a little bit ago. But there's also Frederick Douglass, who was a great freedom fighter who spoke out throughout his life about abolishing slavery. And a great writer, James Baldwin, a fighter, Jack Johnson, and the millionaire hair product producer, the great Madam C.J. Walker, Billie Holiday, the great Louis Armstrong, a great pianist, the Thelonious Monk, and the indomitable Miles Davis. This is The Undefeated, written by Kwame Alexander. This is for the unforgettable, the swift and sweet ones who hurdled history and opened a world of possible. The ones who survived America by any means necessary. And the ones who didn't. This is for the undeniable, the ones who scored with chains on one hand and faith in the other. This is for the unflappable, the sophisticated ones who box adversity and tackle vision, who shine their light for the world to see and don't stop till the break of dawn. This is for the unafraid, the audacious ones who carried the red, white, and weary blues on the battlefield to save an imperfect union. The righteous marching ones who sang, "We shall overcome," because Black lives matter. This is for the unspeakable. 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 This is for the unlimited, unstoppable ones, the dreamers and doers who swim across the big sea of our imagination and show us the majestic shores of the promised land. The Wilma Rudolphs, the Muhammad Alis, the Althea Gibsons, the Jackie Owenses, the Jordans and the LeBrons, the Serenas and the Cheryls, the Reese Whitleys, and the undiscovered. This is for the unbelievable, the wee real cool ones. This is for the unbending, the black as the night is beautiful ones. This is for the underdogs and the uncertain, the unspoken, but no longer untitled. This is for the undefeated. This is for you and you and you. This is for us. And this lovely book, I really love the illustrations. I hope you did too. It talks about the people who scored with chains in one hand and faith in the other. It reflects upon those who were brought to this country against their will and enslaved. They had chains, but faith, which eventually led them to be free. Jack Johnson, one of the first African-American heavyweight champions of the world. And these are many fine artists who have contributed to literature and art, sculptures, all kinds of things. This is Langston Hughes, the poet, who wrote about the weary blues. And Zora Neale Hurston. So many wonderful people. Now, of course, they talk about those who fought on the battlefield for an imperfect union, and those who sang because Black Lives Matter as they marched. I think this is probably John Lewis as a young man with the many others, named and unnamed, that fought to bring about better rights and opportunities in our land. This is a picture of the bottom of a slave ship as all the bodies were put so close together, lying down, chained together in the bottom of those slave ships. So that is for the unspeakable. These were the 4 young women who were killed in their church on a Sunday in 1963, and when their church was bombed. And these are pictures of some of the young people of recent times who have been killed unjustly by police officers. And of course, I'm sure you recognize these visionary eyes of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the unlimited, the unstoppable ones, the dreamers and doers, because we know we have to act on our dreams. And these are some of the other greats: Muhammad Ali, Althea Gibson, and Wilma Rudolph there, Althea Gibson there, and many other greats in sports, and the musical greats: Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, Thelonious Monk, and Miles Davis. I share these people with you to inspire you to be great as well. This is for, they said, for the unspoken but no longer entitled. It's for you. And this is to encourage you to walk in the footsteps of the great. Learn about them and the things that they achieved. They say if you want to be great, you emulate the great. So at the back of this beautiful book, The Undefeated, Kwame Alexander has compiled a little biographical sketch collection so that you can learn about the different people who are here. The Undefeated. May you be undefeated as well. I always love to share a story about someone who has achieved outstanding things. Contemporary great person is one of the Michaels. This is about Michael Jordan. And I told you a lot of the books that I have, I've actually met the authors over time, or some of the illustrators. This book was written by Ms. Dolores Johnson and her daughter, Rosalind Jordan. And I said Dolores Jordan, I meant, and her daughter, Rosalind M. Jordan. And this too was illustrated by my favorite artist, Kadir Nelson. And I have many favorites, but since I'm doing my favorite tales, I thought you might enjoy hearing this one. This is a story that Mrs. Jordan wrote about Michael. And I think it's interesting to know that in Michael's family, he is the absolutely tallest one in the family. His father was not really tall, nor was his mother or any of his siblings. But Michael, this story will share with you how Michael got to be so tall. And this is called Salt in His Shoes, Michael Jordan, in Pursuit of a Dream. And here's Michael. I want you to see this beautiful picture. We're so fortunate today in the many beautiful illustrated books we have available for us. But it's always nice to hear a story that you can just listen to and create your own pictures. So we'll be doing that sometime in our times together with Chief Condra's favorite tales. So here I present to you Salt in His Shoes, Michael Jordan, in Pursuit of a Dream, by Dolores Jordan with Rosalind M. Jordan, and illustrated by, know his name, Kadir Nelson. And I want you to hear what Mrs. Jordan has to say. It is my hope that young readers and listeners will be motivated by this book to follow their dreams just as Michael followed his, by setting goals, listening to that, setting goals, working hard, and being dedicated. It's only when we do this that our dreams can and do come true. For that reason, I dedicate this book to the many children who are inclined to say, I can't, or I wish I had talent, or I wish I were gifted. To them I say, you are gifted. You are talented and special. God has a plan for each of you. Just believe in yourself and follow your dreams. And Michael's sister says, every good and perfect gift comes from above. I give all praises to God for the gift to dream, the gift to believe, and the gift to be. I dedicate this book to all children who desire and are determined to mount up on wings as eagles and soar. By the grace of God, you can fly. So just do it. And there's the man who flies, Michael Jordan. Michael loved to play basketball. Every Saturday, he followed his older brothers, Larry and Ronnie, to the park, hoping that they would let him play. And if one of the guys who usually played with them didn't show, they always did. But there was one problem. His name was Mark, and he was the tallest boy on the court. What's the matter, Mikey? Too short? Mark flapped his arms in Michael's face. Over here, shouted Larry. But when Michael threw the ball, Mark's long arms came out of nowhere and knocked the ball away. It flew into the hands of a player on Mark's team. He made the basket, and the game was over. Just like that. I am really sorry, guys. If I were taller, that wouldn't have happened. All the way home, Michael apologized, even though no one was mad at him. His oldest brother, Ronnie, tried to cheer him up. Look, little brother, you played good today. Don't worry. We'll win the next time. When they got home, Michael went into the kitchen where Mama was cooking dinner. He was still disappointed, and she could tell. You guys lost again today, huh? Michael nodded. He sat quietly for a minute, then said, Mama, how can I grow taller? Now, Mama knew the answer to a lot of questions, but this was a tough one. She thought for a moment. as she sprinkled salt and pepper on the chicken she was making for dinner. Then she smiled, looked at Michael, and said, "Salt." "Salt?" Michael looked at his mama. "Salt in your shoes. We'll put salt in your shoes and say a prayer every night. Before you know it, you'll be taller," she replied. "Salt in my shoes?" Michael said quietly to himself. Surely Mama was teasing. He sat staring out of the window, trying to figure out how salt was going to help him grow. He noticed the rose bushes outside in Mama's garden. They had grown high along the fence, and roses of all colors were blooming on the vines. He thought to himself, "I remember when Mama first planted those bushes." Michael's face lit up. If Mama knows how to make those rose bushes grow taller, then maybe she's right. Maybe salt in my shoes will help me grow. Growing more excited, Michael twirled around and started asking lots of questions. "Mama, how long will it take? And how tall do you think I'll get?" Smiling, Mama sat down next to him and explained, "In order for this to work, the most important things you have to do are to be patient and listen to what I tell you and say your prayers every night." Listening carefully, Michael shook his head. "Okay, Mama, I'll be patient. But what does saying my prayers have to do with it?" "Everything," Mama replied, and she hugged him. "Now go wash up and tell your brothers and sisters to get ready for dinner." Michael dashed out of the kitchen, almost knocking over his father, who was walking in. "What's he up to now?" asked Daddy. "Oh, the usual," laughed Mama, "chasing a dream." Later during dinner, Mama noticed that Michael was barely eating anything. He was already daydreaming about being taller. "Michael, first things first, you won't grow if you don't eat, especially your vegetables," Mama said. "But I'm not really hungry," he said. Raising her eyebrows, Mama gave him a stern look. Slowly, Michael picked up his fork and began to eat. Minutes later, his plate was clean and he was asking for more. That evening at bedtime, Michael set his favorite game shoes on the floor next to the growth chart hanging on the wall. Then he put on his pajamas and said his prayers and jumped into bed. When Mama came in, Michael was fast asleep. By the look on his face, she could tell he was already playing basketball in his dreams. Standing by his bed, Mama sprinkled salt in his shoes. Then she prayed quietly over him, as she did all her children. Dear God, please help Michael to be the best he can be and to give his best in all that he does. And Lord, could you please make him just a little bit taller tomorrow than he is today? Thank you. Amen. After that night, Michael wore his favorite game shoes everywhere he went, even to church. And he stopped going to the park with his brothers on Saturdays. Instead, he stayed home and practiced. He wanted to grow a few more inches before he went back to the park. After 2 months of practicing and waiting patiently and praying, Michael stood next to the growth chart on his wall. Nothing. He hadn't grown an inch. He was disappointed, but he did not stop believing. I've just got to give it time, like Mama said, Michael thought to himself. And that's what he did. 2 more months of practicing went by, and still nothing. Now Michael was becoming a little sad. Not only had he not grown 1 inch, but he also missed playing basketball with Larry and Ronnie. About the only thing he didn't miss was being picked on by Mark. When the next Saturday came, his brothers tried to get Michael to go with them to the park, but he wouldn't budge. Mama had begun to worry. When she saw Michael sitting alone on the steps, she said to Daddy, "Maybe you should go and talk to him." So Daddy went out and sat with Michael. "What's wrong, son? You haven't gone to the park with your brothers for a while now. Are you okay?" Michael didn't say anything at first. Then he looked at Daddy and said, "I thought I would be at least a few inches taller by now. I did everything Mama told me to do, but nothing's happened." "Michael, why do you want to be taller?" Daddy asked. "If I were taller, I'd be a great player, and I could help our team win," Michael answered. "But you are a great player, son. Are you? And you already have everything it takes to be a winner right in here." Daddy tapped Michael on his chest. "Being taller may help you play a little better, but not as much as practice, determination, and giving your best will. Those are the things that make you a real winner." Michael thought about what Daddy said for a minute. Then suddenly he jumped up and took off. "Where are you going?" Daddy yelled after him. "I've got a game to play today, and I'm late," Michael yelled back. When Michael reached the park, the game had started. He sat on the bench hoping he would get a chance to play. And he did. The game was almost over and the score was tied when John, one of the guys on Michael's team, fell and hurt himself. Here was Michael's chance. Michael joined his team in the huddle as they gathered on the sideline for a timeout. "Okay, the game is tied. All we need is 1 point. Who wants to take the shot?" Ronnie asked. He looked in Michael's direction. Feeling more confident than ever, Michael said, "I'll do it." As he approached Mark, Michael shifted to his right. Mark followed, but while he was still shifting, Michael spun to his left. He stepped behind Mark and shot. The ball arced far above his opponent's hands and fell silently through the hoop. 2 points. The game was over. Michael's team had won. It was just as Michael had dreamed. When he realized what he had done, Michael took off running and didn't stop until he had reached home. Bursting through the door, he shouted, "I did it, Daddy! I did it! I shot right over the tall guy's head, and we won the game!" Running in behind him, Ronnie and Larry joined the celebration. "That's right, little brother, you did it. You won the game for us." Michael remembered the look that Ronnie gave him during the last timeout of the game and said, "No, we won the game but I was the star." They all laughed. After that day, Mama stopped putting salt in Michael's shoes, but Michael did not stop being patient and working hard and praying. So that must be what made Michael grow to be a 6'6" tall basketball superstar. And that's Salt in His Shoes, Michael Jordan, in pursuit of a dream. So I hope you can remember how to make a dream come true for yourself. Mrs. Jordan says that you have to do this by setting goals, working hard, and being dedicated. All right, make your dreams come true. Be the great person of your dreams, and you'll make our world a more beautiful place. Thank you.
Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne. Learn more under the Explore tab at acpl.info.